Tinder. Murder on. The night of December 1st, 2018, David and Gillian, living in a small house in the UK, were very excited because in just a little while, it would be their daughter, Grace's 22nd birthday. For the first time ever, Grace was away from home on a solo trip to New Zealand for her birthday. And just like every year, this year too, they wanted to be the first to wish their daughter. But their excitement soon turned into a strange anxiety, because despite calling multiple times, Grace's phone kept coming up as switched off. This was unusual, because Grace always kept her phone on while traveling. They thought maybe she was busy somewhere, or her phone battery had died, so they dropped her a birthday wish via message. But the next morning, there was still no reply from Grace. Her phone was still switched off. Her parents couldn't understand what was going on. Worried, they started asking her friends if they had heard from her. That's when one of Grace's friends told them that she had spoken to Grace the previous evening on WhatsApp, and Grace had told her that she was going on a date with a guy. 2 days passed, but despite all efforts, Grace's parents received no updates, except that Grace had gone on a date with a boy before she disappeared. Panicked, David and Gillian reported their daughter Grace as missing to the New Zealand police. As it was a case involving a foreign national, the police began investigating without delay. For days, there were no leads. Then, one day, Detective Diana Livens was checking Grace's social media profile and noticed a comment under one of her posts. The comment was posted by a man named Jesse Kempson on the night of December the 1st, the same night Grace had gone missing. Diana suspected Jesse might be the same person Grace went on a date with. The police obtained Jesse's contact details and arranged a phone call with him the next day. During the call, Jesse said he hadn't seen Grace after that night, and he didn't know where she was. Detective Diana asked him to come to the police station for questioning, but Jesse claimed he was in another city and couldn't come. He also said that he would return in 3 days and go straight to the station. Diana felt he was lying, so she personally started searching for Jesse at hotels in that city. After checking several places, she finally spotted Jesse leaving a hotel called City Life. As soon as Diana approached him, Jesse tried to flee. After a brief chase, she caught him and took him to the police station for interrogation. During questioning, Jesse stuck to his story that the last time he saw Grace was on her birthday. He admitted lying about being in another city out of fear of the police. Still, Diana didn't believe him, so she kept him in the interrogation room for several hours. While the police team was discussing what to do next, an officer arrived and called everyone to the video room. There, he showed them CCTV footage from the City Life Hotel. In the footage, Jesse was seen entering the hotel room with Grace. Later, he was seen exiting alone with 2 suitcases. Shortly afterward, he returned, this time with a carpet cleaning machine and a shovel. After seeing this footage, the police were convinced Jesse was involved in Grace's disappearance. They confronted him again with the footage. Initially, Jesse repeated his previous statements, but eventually he began to confess. He admitted Grace had not just disappeared. She had died at his hands. He claimed it was an accident. According to him, after a pleasant date, they went back to the hotel room and were making love. At Grace's request, he started choking her during sex, but ended up choking her for too long, causing her death. When this happened, Jesse panicked, not knowing what to do. He stuffed Grace's body into a suitcase and cleaned the carpet before fleeing. The police had seen similar cases before, but they didn't trust Jesse's story because he had already lied multiple times. They kept him in custody and continued investigating. When they checked his phone, they found chats on a dating app where Jesse had scheduled a date with another girl the very next afternoon after Grace's death. His internet search history was disturbing and disgusting, making it clear to the police that Jesse was a deeply twisted person. They checked his phone gallery and found multiple photos of Grace's dead body. When they confronted him about this, he tried to blame the police, claiming they had fabricated the evidence to frame him. At Jesse's trial, all of this evidence was presented in court. The girl he had gone on a date with after murdering Grace also testified that Jesse behaved very strangely during the date and even tried to physically assault her. Finally, the court found Jesse Kempson guilty of Grace's murder and sentenced him to life imprisonment. Upon hearing the verdict, Jesse lost his temper, started cursing at the judges, and had to be forcefully removed by police officers. Everyone thought the story of Jesse Kempson had ended. But when his case hit the media, 2 more women came forward. They told the police that they too had met Jesse through Tinder, and he had tried to assault them with a knife. Further investigation revealed that Jesse used to lie to every woman about his profession, and he was a cold-blooded serial abuser who lured women through dating apps like Tinder to sexually exploit them. Jesse is now in prison, serving his sentence for Grace's murder, while facing more charges for crimes against other women. Whispers of Grace. A sleep story. It was a quiet winter evening, December 1st, 2018. In a little home nestled somewhere in the calm of the United Kingdom, David and Gillian sat together, warm and cozy in their living room. They were waiting for a call from someone very dear to their hearts, their beloved daughter, Grace. Grace was turning 22 that night, and for the first time in her life, she had chosen to celebrate her birthday far away from home, on a solo journey to the beautiful landscapes of New Zealand. Though miles apart, David and Gillian felt close to her in spirit. Like every year, they wanted to be the first voices she would hear on her special day. They had planned to call just as the clock ticked midnight. But when they called her, the phone did not ring. It was switched off. Strange, they thought. Grace was always careful. Especially while traveling, she kept her phone on. Always. Perhaps the battery had died. Maybe she was just caught up in something fun. With hopeful hearts, they left her a soft birthday message, wishing her love, laughter, and light, and went to bed, imagining her smiling. But as the sun rose the next day, Grace still hadn't replied. Her phone remained silent, switched off, disconnected from the world. A little flutter of worry stirred inside them. They reached out to her friends. and one friend gently shared that Grace had mentioned going out on a date that evening with someone she had met through a dating app. 2 days passed, no calls, no replies, no Grace. Worried minds gave way to anxious hearts. David and Gillian reported Grace missing to the New Zealand police, and the officers, kind and alert, immediately began the search. They scanned through names, places, and finally, they found a comment. A young man named Jesse had written to Grace on social media on the same night she had disappeared. The detective, Diana, a woman with calm eyes and a steady mind, felt something stir. Perhaps Jesse was the one Grace had met. The police called Jesse. He answered with a calm voice and said he hadn't seen Grace since that night. He claimed to be in another city, but promised to come meet the police soon. Detective Diana was patient, but something didn't feel right, so she quietly visited hotels across the city until one quiet morning, she spotted Jesse walking out of a hotel named City Life. As she approached him, he tried to leave, but Diana called out to him, and soon he was brought to the station. At first, he stayed firm on his words, that he had simply gone out with Grace and parted ways after the evening. But truth has a gentle way of surfacing. The police, calm and careful, reviewed footage from the hotel, and there they saw it. Grace walking into the room with Jesse, and later, Jesse leaving alone with suitcases. He returned once more, this time with cleaning tools. The room grew still. The truth was quietly finding its voice. They spoke with Jesse again, and this time, his story changed. He said he hadn't meant for anything bad to happen, that the evening had started beautifully, that Grace had laughed and talked and smiled. But something went wrong. During a moment of intimacy, he said Grace had made a request, and he followed, not realizing he was hurting her. By the time he noticed, she had stopped breathing. Panic, silence. A young man, not knowing what to do, hid what he had done and walked away. The officers listened, but their minds stayed steady, for Jesse had lied before. They checked his phone and found that the very next day after Grace's death, he had scheduled another date with another girl. His search history, disturbing. His actions, cold. His phone contained photos, images of Grace taken after she had passed. The truth no longer whispered. It was clear, crystal and sharp. The trial was held. Every truth was brought forward with calm, firm voices. And the girl Jesse had met after Grace told the court about how unsafe she had felt. The judgment was clear. Jesse Kempson was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. As the courtroom echoed with the verdict, Jesse lost his calm, but he was taken away, quiet. Many believed the story ended there, but soon 2 more women came forward. They too had met Jesse through Tinder, and they too had stories filled with fear. And so, a picture was complete. Jesse, a man who hid behind charm, using lies to lure and harm. Now, he remains behind bars, and Grace lives on, in memory, in hearts, in the stories whispered softly in her name. So now, dear listener, take a deep breath and let your eyes rest. The world is vast, but tonight you are safe, you're calm, and it's okay to let go. Let the story fade like mist, and let the peace of sleep embrace you.